the Phillies forcing a Game 6, or does the baseball season end tonight? Joe and Tim will have the call right after this. Of November, 51 degrees, partly cloudy, but rain is staying away for the most part. We certainly hope so. It is time right now. Get you all set for the game. Up to the broadcast booth. Joe Buck, take it away, my friend.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. And everybody, welcome to our broadcast booth. I'm Joe. Tim is coming right up. So here are the Phillies at home, down 3-1. And tonight they hand the ball to the left-hander, Cliff Lee. You can bundle up all the starters across baseball we've seen this postseason. Nobody has been as good as Cliff Lee. 2 earned runs allowed in over 33 innings pitched. He has been brilliant. And the Phillies need him to be brilliant tonight to stop the Yankee momentum and get this World Series back to the Bronx. I welcome in my partner, Tim McCarver. And Tim, if we stay with that whole pitching theme, the recipe for the Yankees this postseason has been terrific.
Well, it's amazing what the Yankees have gotten out of their Mount Rushmore of pitchers, virtually bookending the competition. Let's look at their starters. Their starters, the 3 guys, have started 13 games, all 13 postseason games. They have lost 1 time. Their incomparable stopper, short reliever Mariano Rivera, the best ever, 11 games and 1 earned run. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and here's who's been unbelievable with a bat for the Yankees. Alex Rodriguez had only 2 hits so far this World Series, but he has made both of them count. It's Game 5 tonight.
He
called it, no question, the biggest hit of his career. Past postseason failures, seemingly a distant memory. Rodriguez has undoubtedly been the spark whenever the Yankees have needed it. With the game-winning double last night, not only did A-Rod break out of his 1-for-13 slump, he also put himself one step away from his first championship and put his team on the brink of their 27th. All that stands in their way is Cliff Lee, the Philly ace who certainly had his way with the Yankees in Game 1. It's do or die time for the defending champion Phillies. Game 5 coming up next.
Radar love.
Second, Mark Teixeira hits third. Alex Rodriguez cleans up. Nick Swisher moves up. There's news on Melky Cabrera. So Swisher bats in the number 5 spot. Robinson Cano is at second base. Brett Gardner gets the start. Jose Molina does the catching, and A.J. Burnett is his pitcher. And there's Melky Cabrera, who has been deactivated for the Yankees with a bad left hamstring. He looks okay.
They look like they're 3-1 in the World Series.
He is not available anymore for the rest of this World Series to the Yankees, as they have made the switch and activated Ramiro Pena. And here is Cliff Lee, who this postseason has been fantastic. 30 strikeouts compared to only 3 walks. And he went the full 9 in Game 1 of this World Series at Yankee Stadium, getting the 6-1 victory.
Cliff Lee from Benton, Arkansas, and his opponent tonight, A.J. Burnett from Little Rock, Arkansas. The first time that 2 pitchers from Arkansas have ever started a World Series game. A lightning fast delivery. He works deep into the game. He had 8 complete games this year, and he breaks a ton of bats as he did in game 1. That spike curveball is what we're looking at right there. In fact, A.J. Burnett throws a similar pitch where he curls that index finger under and a lot of wrap. Game 1, he was unbelievable.
Take a look back. Yankee Stadium, and kept the Yankee hitters off balance all night. Throws 91, maybe 92, but according to the Yankees, it appears harder than that. He hides the ball well, and he made those 2 very good defensive plays. In fact, I think that's the biggest thing he's got going for him. Something he had on display in game 1. And that was kind of that nonchalant attitude. When you talked to him the next day and you talked about it, he was, almost unemotional. And I think that will serve him well pitching here tonight in game 5, trying to get this World Series back to New York. I don't think he's going to be fazed at all by this assignment. He was cavalier how he caught that pop up in game 1, making that behind the back play. And let's see how he gets along here tonight. They're being dealt to the Phillies at the end of July from the Indians. Tonight's opening pitch brought to you by Budweiser. With full flavor and a crisp, clean finish, it's what we do. And what Derek Jeter does in the postseason and in the World Series is make things happen. You can see what he's done, hitting .412 during this World Series. He has 1 RBI. That came in last night's game. And he leads it off for New York. Ball 1 from Cliff Lee.
I think your point's well taken, Joe. If Cliff Lee was unfazed pitching his first World Series appearance at Yankee Stadium, the new Yankee Stadium, he's not going to be fazed pitching at home tonight.
Here's his 1-0 pitch and a ground ball up the middle. Utley to his right, gloves, throws, good play for the out. Utley had to go a long way to get it, and then Ryan Howard dug it out on the other end.
Twice in this series, Derek Jeter has led off hitting balls to the left of Chase Utley. He hits one to the right. Nice play by the Phillies second baseman.
And that show of respect by this Philly crowd for Johnny Damon. They boo him, and he was the one who got the 2-out hit last night in the 9th inning that started a 3-run rally.
Booing can be good.
And you're on the road.
Yes.
Strike 1 from Cliff Lee. Damon in his career is just 3 for 26 against this Philadelphia left-hander, a 115 average. He's only hit Gil Mesh worse, and that misses down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. So among active pitchers Johnny Damon has dealt with, Cliff Lee is the second toughest average-wise for him to face. 1-1 pitch. And that's off the end of the bat, falling into center for a 1-out base hit. Give you a look at the defense for Philadelphia. Raul Ibanez is in left, Victorino in center, Jason Worth in right. Feliz, Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard around the infield with Ruiz doing the catching. The left-hander Cliff Lee. 1 on, 1 out. Mark Teixeira digs in. Here are the Yankees on the brink of a world championship, up 3 games to 1. And their 3-4 combination in their lineup is a combined average of 107. Teixeira's 1 for 14. The guy behind him, A-Rod, is 2 for 14. And each has a home run. The only hit for Teixeira was a game 2 home run off Pedro. That's in the dirt. 2-0.
Of their 26 world titles, the Yankees have been up 3 games to 1. 8 times. They have never lost a World Series after being up 3 wins to 1 loss.
In fact, in World Series history, teams up 3 games to 1 have won 36 of the 41 series in that situation. That is low, and the count 3-0. So base hit off the end of the bat by Johnny Damon. Teixeira waits for a 3-0 pitch, and Cliff Lee, all he has to do is peek into the on-deck circle to see Alex Rodriguez. There's a strike. 3-1.
Well, the Yankees want a parade, not Game 6. They want a parade down the Canyon of Heroes in a couple of days. For the Phillies, the right guys have to hit. The right guys being Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, and Shane Victorino at the top.
Get guys on base for the middle part of this lineup. Lee has bounced back from a 3-0 count, and this crowd has jumped back in. Full count on Teixeira. And a fly ball into right. Easy for Worth. 2 out. And with 2 out and a runner at first, here's Rodriguez. Charlie Manuel talked to us before the game, and he said, yeah, Damon had a great at bat. Yes, he stole 2 bases on 1 play, stole second and third, but it still took a hit from somebody, and the Yankees got it last night with 2 out from Rodriguez.
Talking to Carl Willis, the ex-pitching coach of Lee, and he said they used to discourage his move to first base. It was so bad, but he gets rid of the ball so quickly, he's tough to run against.
That's down and in ball 1, and you're saying that after that first throw over to first base, which was more like a lob. With Johnny Damon over there, Damon with his 3 steals in this series, is only 3 of the postseason. Strike. Yankee hitters will tell you what makes Lee tough is that he throws 4 pitches at any time in the count, hides the baseball well, is tough to pick up. Fastball, base hit into the right field corner. Jason Worth will get to it. Damon is coming around third. Here's the throw by Utley, and too late. 1-0 New York in the first inning of Game 5. And Rodriguez delivers with a 2-out RBI double.
We have mentioned it more than once in the postseason. Rodriguez loves to extend his arms. Great power the other way. And once this ball gets by Jason Worth in right field, you know Damon's going to score. Worth can't cut it off. The cutoff throw is good as Damon, pounding around third, waved home by Rob Thompson, and the Yankees are on the board.
So Rodriguez now has 3 hits in this World Series. All 3 have produced runs, and the Yankees jump on top. Here is Nick Swisher. Because Burnett is starting, because his catcher now is Jose Molina, the bottom part of the order has a much different look without Posada's bat in there and with the injury to Melky Cabrera. Swisher is 2 for 9 in this series, hitting 146 this postseason. That's over but low, 2-0. Cliff Lee has fallen behind a couple of hitters here in the first inning, something he did not do in that Game 1 start. And now he's 3-0.
Had 3-0 to Mark Teixeira, now 3-0 to Nick Swisher.
Three balls, no strikes on Nick Swisher. Runner at second with 2 out. Time called at the plate. So the Yankees get right after Cliff Lee. And that's ball 4. 2 on, 2 out. A walk extends the inning for Cano, and now we go back to the slide of Johnny Damon, who had to touch home plate with his hand. That was close.
Even though I think the heel of the left foot touched home plate initially. It was close, but Johnny making sure. But a good block of home plate. We've seen that from Ruiz. It's always tougher to block home plate with a throw coming in from right field because you don't know where the runner is.
Here is Cano. When you talk about the struggles of Teixeira and Rodriguez as far as total number of hits, throw Cano in there, 2 out of 15, and has not driven in a run in this World Series. Home plate umpire tonight is Dana DeMuth. Joe West is at first, Jerry Davis at second, Jeff Nelson at third, Brian Gorman down the left field line, and Mike Everett, who worked the plate last night, is in right field. 1 ball, no strikes on Cano. And a fly ball into left. Ibanez is there to win the inning. But the Yankees get a run. On 2 hits, a walk, 2 left after a half in Game 5, 1-0 New York. Let's take a look at the Philadelphia starting lineup. Jimmy Rollins leads off. He's the shortstop. Shane Victorino bats second in center field. Then Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, and Jason Worth. Raul Ibanez is in left. Pedro Feliz, Carlos Ruiz, and Cliff Lee. Here is A.J. Burnett. This postseason has made 4 starts. He's 1-0, ERA of 3.55, taking on that lineup, trying to build on what he did in Game 2 back at Yankee Stadium.
And it cannot be stressed enough that first point, the first pitch strikes in Game 2, 22 of 26 batters strike 1. And he's got the best curveball in the game if he's right.
Charlie Manuel will tell you, you want to be aggressive. You don't want to give him strike 1, but you also want to see early if he's got his location and if he is able to throw pitch 1 for a strike.
Well, he had it in Game 2.
Pitching on 3 days rest, and Rollins goes after one up, strike 1.
Because of that, the players are the best scouts. And the players know he threw 22 of 26 pitches, first pitch strikes. But Rollins swinging at a ball out of the strike zone. It looked like he was intent on swinging at the fastball then.
293-mile-per-hour fastballs, a ball and a strike. There are the numbers. 3-0 on 3 days rest with a 1.64 ERA. 3 starts in the career of A.J. Burnett. That's foul, and that's strike 2. Victorino on deck, and then Chase Utley. This Phillies team needs a jolt. Jimmy Rollins 3 for 15 in this series. The 1-2.
That was a bad breaking ball from Burnett. So the fastball messed up. He's still ahead of Rollins, but a flat breaking ball, the first of the night.
Another 1-2 pitch. And another foul ball. And another curveball. This one a little better. A.J. Burnett in his first year with the Yankees signed a 5-year $82.5 million deal, $16+ million per season, to come to New York. Part of that big offseason investment in 3 main players: Sabathia and Teixeira. Here's a line drive, base hit into center by Rollins.
Charlie Manuel says that Jimmy Rollins makes our offense go. We'll see. Two-seam fastball. He tried to come inside. Rollins said,
That was something that Joe Girardi talked about with us prior to game 2. He said when that fastball runs back over the plate like that, A.J. Burnett has struggled in the past. Started inside, jumped over the heart of the plate, and Jimmy Rollins jumped on it. There he goes. And Victorino is hit by the pitch. They appealed down to third to see if Victorino offered it the pitch. No was the answer. And Victorino will go down to first base, hit by Burnett.
Here comes Joe Girardi. Joe Girardi thought that he may have offered it the ball, or did it hit the bat? The right hand. Home plate umpire Dana DeMuth appeared to have called it immediately. Girardi perhaps thought it hit that he bunted through it. It didn't appear that he did.
I think they got the call right.
Yep.
Caught Victorino on the right hand. They're still looking at it. Meanwhile, last night in the first inning, remember, Alex Rodriguez was hit by a pitch that drew a warning from this umpiring crew to each bench. This is a different situation. Rodriguez had been hit 3 times and has been. At that point, had been hit 3 times over the last 2 nights. Let's listen.
That was bone, not wood.
That sounded awful.
Or particularly when that hand is pressed against wood, there's no place to give. There's no give in that hand. That had to hurt.
Here is Utley. Chase Utley went deep again last night. He has 3 home runs in this World Series, all against Sabathia. 2 on, nobody out for Philadelphia. And a fly ball into right. Back at the wall. Utley goes deep. 3-1 Philadelphia.
First pitch, struck. Remember the first point of the scouting report, 22 of the first 26 batters strike one.
Now Ryan Howard comes up empty. The Phillies had hit 7 home runs in this World Series, but all had been solo home runs. They get their first 2 on here in the first inning. Rollins and Victorino. And Utley goes deep. His 4th home run of this World Series. 3-1 Philadelphia for Cliff Lee, and a 1-1 count on Ryan Howard.
Even with runners on base, Chase Utley rarely will swing at the first pitch. And he did then to benefit the Phillies.
A 1-1 from Burnett. 2 balls and a strike. Howard loses the bat on strike 2. Ryan Howard, I'm sure, is tired of looking up at the scoreboard and seeing 2 strikes. But he has struck out 10 times and is just 3 for 17 with 1 RBI in this World Series.
Yeah, this is after being the most valuable player in the National League Championship Series.
Howard checked it, full count. The Yankees got a run in their half of the first, taking the crowd out of it. Chase Utley just brought him back in it. And a 3-2 from Burnett. Breaking ball misses for the walk. And here comes Dave Eiland, the pitching coach for the Yankees. While they talk, if you think about the flow of this World Series and how it's gone through the first 4 games. Philadelphia goes to Yankee Stadium. They have Cliff Lee on the mound, who goes 9 innings, and they win that ball game 6-1. Then it was A.J. Burnett, the man on the mound now for New York, who was dominant in game 2 with Rivera pitching the last 2 innings. It was a struggle, but he got the save. Then here to Philadelphia, up 3-0 on Andy Pettitte. He figures his pitching stuff out, even gets an RBI base hit. They rally to win it after the Phillies rallied to tie game 4 in the 8th inning on the home run by Pedro Feliz. Top of the 9th inning, a 2-out rally, and then Rivera does his thing, and just like that, the Yankees are up 3-1. Now the Phillies facing elimination, gave up a run in the first, come back with 3 in the bottom half, a chance for more. Strike 1 to Worth. There's a strike. And the count 0-2. A.J. Burnett with only 1 unintentional walk in 7 innings of game 2. And he has 1 here in the first inning. Cliff Lee didn't walk anybody in game 1. He has a walk. Vanya's on deck. An 0-2 count on Worth.
What the Yankees try to do with Jason Worth, throw the breaking ball out of the strike zone and get him to chase with 2 strikes.
Molina does a nice job to keep it near home plate.
That's the problem of that particular breaking ball from Burnett. We've said many times that he shared the American League lead in wild pitches with Felix Hernandez
the Seattle Mariners. A very nice play by Jose Molina to keep Howard at first.
The 1-2 and a strikeout of Jason Worth on a good pitch down and away, 2 out.
That's a scouting report. Get ahead of Jason Worth and then throw the breaking ball out of the strike zone, particularly when you have a breaking ball that's as good as Burnett's.
That's out number 1 as Jason Worth went after that ball down and away, not 2, and Ibanez bats with 1-on-1 out here in the first inning. This Phillies up by 2. Ibanez 3 for 16 in this World Series, and a ball outside. The left-handed batters in game 2 against A.J. Burnett. The big bats, a combined 1 for 8 between Utley, Howard, and Ibanez. Back at Yankee Stadium. Last night Howard stole a base. And happened in the 4th off Sabathia. Ibanez takes outside. 2-0.
See what happens when you steal a base? They think you're going to steal the next night, too.
Here's a 2-0 pitch and a ground ball. What a play by Teixeira. Flips for the out, and the throw back is not in time. Burnett didn't have his foot on the bag anyway, but Teixeira literally took a hit away from Ibanez.
He will probably win his 3rd Gold Glove this winter. And the one impressive thing about Mark Teixeira that we've noticed is his range to his right. The backhand from his knees to Jeter. Couldn't get a lot on the throw. That prevented the double play. But a fine play by a Gold Glover.
That's what the Yankees bought over the offseason as bring out a tool to get the dirt out of the spikes of A.J. Burnett. But they bought a guy who eventually led the American League in home runs and RBIs and can be a vacuum at times over at first base and saves a lot of throwing errors from the infielders with what he can do with his glove and his foot on the bag. Take a look at the defense for the Yankees. Damon. Gardner is in center with the injury to Cabrera, and Nick Swisher in right. A-Rod, Jeter, Cano, Teixeira, Jose Molina does the catching for Burnett. Here is Pedro Feliz. What a night last night for Feliz. 2-out RBI single in the 4th inning, which tied the game, and a 2-out game-tying home run in the 8th off Jabba Chamberlain. Strike 1. One on, 2 out. Ground ball to short. Jeter picks it up, flips for the out. And we go to the 2nd. Victorino was hit, but it was Utley who hurt the Yankees in the 1st. 3-1 Philadelphia after 1 in Game 5. We look out at Shane Victorino, and he really took that fastball off the knuckles when he was hit by the pitch, and he doesn't look good out there at all.
That, of course, is throwing hand. He has a very, very strong throwing arm, and the Yankees will take that into consideration when they're running the bases.
There's Brett Gardner leading it off, and first pitch misses not only the strike zone but the glove of Ruiz. Ball 1. This is where you talk about a difference in the bottom of the lineup for the Yankees with the injury to Cabrera and with Molina in there instead of Posada. Gardner, who has just 5 at-bats during this postseason. Molina, who's 1 for 5 overall this postseason. And then the pitcher, Burnett. Ball and a strike to Gardner, who had a broken thumb that put him on the disabled list from July 26th through the first week of September. Good fastball for strike 2. Again, Cabrera pulling his hamstring. Joe Girardi telling us before the game that it was during the regular season. It was the type of pull that would have put Cabrera on the disabled list for 2 weeks. Reaching for it, and a ground ball to Ryan Howard. Wins the race, 1 out. Told you in the first inning that Ramiro Pena, middle infield type player, has replaced Melky Cabrera on the active roster. And that is a change in baseball since 2007, where teams, because of an injury, can make a roster move within a series as opposed to between series.
And it has to be a position player for a position player, or a pitcher for a pitcher. In other words, you can't bring a position player in and take a pitcher off the list.
First pitch strike to Jose Molina. 0 for 1 in this World Series. That's inside. And I think the early returns on the strike zone of Dana DeMuth is that he will be tight side to side, which could be bad news for Burnett, who has less control than Cliff Lee.
Just the opposite of last night's home plate umpire, Mike Everett.
The 1-1 is popped up right side. Foul ball. Ryan Howard can't get there. Strike 2.
Joe, you talked about the bottom part of the order, and certainly not as strong as it has been for the Yankees. In the National League, you can win with strength 1 through 6, 1 through 7 if you have good pitching. In the American League, you have to be strong 1 through 9, as the Yankees are when they're playing in an American League park.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Jose Molina. And the fastball is up. 2-2. Again, 2 earned runs in 33 1/3 innings coming into this start for Cliff Lee. He allowed a run on 2 hits in the first. Also walked about it. 2-2 pitch. Will pop up. Ryan Howard won't get there. Foul ball. Still 2-2. Chevy and baseball have teamed up to give fans a chance to win tickets to the postseason. And even better, you have a chance to win a new Chevy. Just register at worldseries.com/Chevy and may the best team win. Molina broke his bat, so he goes back to the dugout. After Molina, it's the pitcher, A.J. Burnett.
Everybody knows about Mariano Rivera and how he breaks bats, but few American League hitters know about Cliff Lee. Even though he did pitch with Cleveland, Cliff's a different pitcher with the Phillies than he was with the Indians.
2-2. Left side, and Feliz can take his time. 2 out.
We talked about the spike curveball of Cliff Lee, where he curls the index finger under. Well, A.J. Burnett also throws the spike curveball. A little different grip. Looks like A.J. Burnett uses the seam to get the break, and Cliff Lee not necessarily so.
Here is A.J. Burnett, who during the regular season was 1 for 5 swinging the bat in his career. His 3 home runs, 35 of 266, a 132 average, 9 RBIs. Longtime National Leaguer with the Marlins. There's a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike. Lee signed as, or rather Burnett signed as a free agent with the Blue Jays and was with Toronto from 06 through 08. Now in his first year with the Yankees, pretty good rip. But a 1-2 count with 2 out, nobody on. Strikeout number 1 on the night for Cliff Lee, who sprints off the mound. Bottom of the second in Philadelphia. Phillies up by 2. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. To get the most channels in HD, call 1-800-DirecTV. How about our Jeep trivia question before the bottom of the second with the Phillies up 3-1? The Yankees have won 26 World Series titles. Which American League team has the second most? Got a silent nod out of you over there, Tim. If you were looking at me, you would have seen the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I do not know.
We'll just wait and find out at some point as we make our way through game number 5. Here is Ruiz, the number 8 hitter. Cliff Lee, the pitcher, will follow, and then Jimmy Rollins. When you start looking and comparing the bottom of the order in each side, now I would say that the Phillies have the advantage. least with the 7 and 8 hitters compared to what the Yankees are featuring 7 and 8. First pitch is high, and Burnett has missed up quite a bit here early. Ruiz is a guy that's hit .353 in his last 17 postseason games. With 3 home runs, 1 home run in this World Series, and that misses. 2-0.
Charlie Manuel telling us before the game that just because Burnett threw first pitch strikes his last outing doesn't mean he's going to throw first pitch strikes tonight.
That's high. 3-0. First pitch strikes to 5 of the 8 faced. 3-0 on Ruiz. And a strike. 3-1. Ruiz in his history during the World Series last year in this, 9 for 28. Swinging the bat. 3 for 12 this year. The 3-1. Full count as A.J. Burnett tries to battle back. Two and a strikeout of Ruiz. Second strikeout for Burnett. Major League Baseball encourages all fans to support ALS charities. Go to MLB.com/4ALS to learn more about this important cause. And tonight we tip our cap to Michael Goldsmith, who inspired the 70th anniversary commemoration of Lou Gehrig's memorable speech. Sadly, Michael passed away yesterday after a lengthy battle. His legacy lives on as we dedicate Game 5 of the World Series to the MLB mission of assisting in the fight against ALS. 1 pitch to Cliff Lee, grounds out to Teixeira. 2 out, nobody on, and I'm sure anybody who has experienced that disease or knowing somebody with ALS, it is a nasty disease. Our thoughts are with Michael's family tonight. 2 out, nobody on, and Jimmy Rollins, who got it started for Philly in the first inning with a single and scored on the homer by Utley, steps in. A high strike on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
You may wonder why Jimmy Rollins' uniform is dirty since he scored ahead of the home run by Chase Utley. He was running and sliding head first on the ball that hit Victorino in the first inning.
You know, it's interesting to watch Victorino prepare for this at bat, and it'll be really interesting to see him in his next at bat. Hit on the knuckles his first time up, and we'll see how he's able to grip it.
He's already, as you can see there, holding that index finger off the bat. I wonder if that's how he's going to grip in his next at bat.
Let's go back to him getting hit as he squared around a bunt in the first. Got him on the right hand and right off that right index finger, maybe part of the middle finger. He is as tough as they come. Shane Victorino trying to hang in, and that ball misses for ball 3 to Jimmy Rollins. And a 2-out walk. Second walk by Burnett. Back in the first inning when Victorino was hit, the question was whether he offered at the pitch when he bunted. And here's the conversation between DeMuth and the manager, Joe Girardi of the Yankees.
Hold on. I asked if he would have to be attempted for it. I had an inside pitch. All right. So I couldn't see if he went or not. got hit. I looked down my third base and asked him if he butted for it, and he said no.
Appeal was made to Jeff Nelson, the third base umpire. Nelson said that Victorino did not offer at the pitch, and looked to us like they got the call right. Victorino went to first, and on the first pitch to Utley, he popped a 3-run homer. Popped up. Victorino shakes out that right hand, and Jeter puts it away to end the inning. A walk, a man left. Phillies have left 2. Watch Victorino. Third inning, game 5, 3-1, Philadelphia. There is a lot more evidence that the right hand, and in particular that right index finger for Shane Victorino, is hurt. I wonder if he'll be able to finish this game 5 and what he would be available for the rest of this series. And we'll show you some of the video. Here it is. Here's him just taking off his batting glove after popping up.
Gingerly.
And then the frustration. Not able to throw the ball very well in center field either, as Jeter leads it off. Top of the order for the Yankees, down by 2 here in the 3rd inning. And there's one inside from Lee. Ball and a strike. And it's just him trying to grip the baseball and throw it.
And once again, that could come into play for good base runners like Derek Jeter. They'll take advantage of that.
There's a fastball for a strike from Lee to Jeter, 1-2. So the Yankees have lost their center fielder, Melky Cabrera, who hits down deeper in the lineup. It would be a big loss for the Phillies if they lost the presence of Shane Victorino, their number 2 hitter. And a very good center fielder defensively.
Change-up grip to a fastball.
2-2. So Lee starts with a changeup grip in his glove and then shifts to a fastball grip so that these Yankee hitters can't pick up what pitch is coming, and the count 2-2.
Or the first base coach, Mick Kelleher, who has the best view of the left hand of Cliff Lee. For a right-hander, it'd be the third base coach.
He does it again. And Jeter grounds to third for Feliz. 1 out. And the batter will be Johnny Damon, who singled and scored in the first.
By the way, the Philadelphia Phillies do have X-ray facilities in the ballpark, like a lot of major league teams. In such a situation where a player is hit by a pitch, it needs to be X-rayed. It would certainly be the course of action, I would think, of Victorino.
Damon is developing a reputation here in Philadelphia. They boo him again as he digs in. His last 2 at bats, a couple of very important singles. Last night in the 9th inning in a tie game to start a 3-run rally. He singled and scored a run in the first inning tonight. He's up on the count here 2-0. And the next from Cliff Lee. Strike 1. Damon likes hitting in this park. In his career, 16 of 39 at Citizens Bank Park. And he's up on the count 3-1.
Johnny Damon, the national spokesman of the Wounded Warriors, a wonderful organization, particularly close to us, Joe, since your dad was wounded at the Battle of Remagen in World War II. My dad fought in the South Pacific.
3-1 pitch is low, and Johnny Damon draws a walk. So you have to wait no longer for the answer to our Jeep trivia question. The Yankees have won 26 World Series titles. Which American League team has the second most? The Athletics with 9. 5 in Philadelphia, 4 in Oakland. In Oakland, they won 72, 3 and 4 in 1989. Damon takes his lead. Teixeira at the plate, and he rips it foul. One of the better swings we've seen Teixeira take in this World Series. Yeah, you talk about the away from the field efforts that a lot of these players make, and you think about somebody like Johnny Damon, who is truly one of the good guys of this game.
He is.
So valuable to these Yankees, and in the final year of his deal, a free agent to be. He can hit for power. He hits for average at 282. Hit 24 home runs. Stole 12 bases. He's stolen 3 this postseason. And he's on for the second time tonight against Cliff Lee. Here's a 1-1 to Teixeira. And a grounder foul. Strike 2.
Joe Girardi, the Yankee manager, talking about Johnny Damon, said that he remembers a skinny little kid running around in the outfield, could run like the wind, playing for Kansas City a decade ago. But you don't realize how big Johnny Damon is.
Teixeira chops to third. The high hop for Feliz, the lead runner for 1, and that's it. The force out at second. On at first is Teixeira for Rodriguez. We had a play during the ALCS with Eric Ibar around the second base bag, not touching the base. Tough to tell on that replay whether Utley got his foot on the bag with the ball in his glove.
I don't think he did. He's straddling the bag. He never touched the bag. That's that neighborhood play that we were talking about. in Game 2 of the American League Championship Series. He may have brushed it with his left foot.
There's a strike to Rodriguez.
But normally second base umpires will give the second baseman the benefit of the doubt when he's close.
The call we're talking about was in that terrific Game 2 of the ALCS. It lasted 13 innings. Here's Rodriguez with a fly ball into right center. Going to get it is Victorino. He can catch. That glove on his left hand. Who's coming up for the Phillies? Utley, Mr. Home Run, with 4 in this World Series. Howard and Worth to follow. Phillies up by 2. Part of the order for the Phillies. That means Utley, first up, now has 6 career World Series home runs, most all time by a second baseman. He went deep. Biggest swing for the Phillies so far this postseason, facing elimination here tonight. A 3-run home run on the first pitch from Burnett, after Victorino was hit by a pitch, and that followed a hit up the middle by Jimmy Rollins. In a single World Series, Utley is now tied with Bonds, Dykstra, and Duke Snider for the most in National League history in a single World Series. Count's gone to 2-0. Who do you think has the most, Tim? He's in the park tonight.
RJ.
That's how you get the nickname Mr. October.
Yep.
Reggie Jackson. The 2-0 pitch. Strike. Reggie, who is from Philadelphia, became Mr. October back in 1977 against the Dodgers. 5 home runs, 3 in successive at bats in the 6th and final game Yankee Stadium. The Yankees beat the Dodgers 4-2.
Reggie Jackson and Bob Gibson just wrote a book called 60 Feet 6 Inches. I was asked for a blurb in the book, and I said, Mr. October meets Mr. October. Reggie and Bob Gibson, two of the great World Series stars ever.
Here is a 2-1 to Utley. Outside, 3 balls and a strike. Burnett has walked 2, and he threatens to walk Utley. Has to come into him, and that has not gone well for Yankee pitching so far in this World Series. What'll it be on 3-1? And it's up and away, a leadoff walk. More on Shane Victorino, even catching that fly ball to end the top of this 3rd inning. Just shaking out that right hand and then gripping it out of his glove. And okay, we could be overdoing it a little bit, but Shane Victorino just left the dugout, and they're going to look at it. And if the Phillies lose Victorino tonight, and if there are more games in this series, that's a big loss for this Philadelphia team. On the field, emotionally, any way you want to look at it.
There have been a lot of injuries in baseball where players have been hit while still holding the bat.
So anything news-wise that we find out about Victorino, we'll pass it along immediately. Here's Ryan Howard, 1 on, nobody out, and strike 1. Charlie Manuel, who really has made his name in the big leagues as one of the better hitting coaches that the big leagues have seen over the past 20-30 years, talked to us before the game about how Howard is almost lunging forward as the pitch is coming to the plate instead of being loaded on his back leg, ready to explode into the pitch.
What happens is you're not on your back leg and you're leaning forward, and what that does, it saps the strength out of a swing. You have nothing left with which to hit but your arms. And that is a formidable body when he unloads on one. But staying back, one of the key things to hitting. Waiting, staying back, and having quick hands.
That combination combined for 47 home runs total, including the postseason here in 2009 for Ryan Howard. There goes Utley. The pitch is high. Throw down is not handled by Jeter, and a stolen base for Utley. He's 3 for 3 this postseason, Tim, and 26 for 26 Utley in stealing bases in 2009.
The throw low, but you can realize the problems that Molina had in getting rid of the ball. It's a lot tougher for a catcher to throw with a left-handed batter up there, particularly a left-handed batter that you almost have to throw over. So a short hop and Utley's in there.
Game 1 was the Cliff Lee Chase Utley show at Yankee Stadium. They're trying to do it again here in Game 5 as Ryan Howard takes up and away 2-1. Nobody out in the inning, a walk and a stolen base. Jason Worth on deck. Scooped up by Molina, ball 3. Veteran left-handers talking it over. Jamie Moyer on the right. Cliff Lee, tonight's starter for the Phillies, on the left. Full count.
He lunges at this fastball. Watch the front part of the body open up, and Ryan fouls it off. In order to solve that problem, that's why hitting coaches tell hitters try to take the ball the other way. It keeps them back.
Three-two pitch. And a check swing on a pitch in the dirt. 2 walks in the inning. And Dave Eiland is going to come out and talk with Jason Worth coming up.
The Yankees are seeing night and day out of A.J. Burnett. Great control in game 2, the winning pitcher, and clearly his control off tonight.
So while they talk on the mound, we remind you that this week on a very special Fox NFL Sunday, Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy head to Afghanistan to bring a taste of the NFL to the brave men and women in our armed forces. It's all on the Ford Drive 1 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show this week at a special time of 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, only on Fox. Right-hander Dave Robertson getting loose here in the 3rd inning. Two on with nobody out for Jason Worth. And a ball starts this at bat. Worth with 7 home runs this postseason. 2 in this World Series for his only 2 RBIs. Coming in game 3. Strike. Worth comes up empty. Big swing. Strike 2. You see the 94-mile-per-hour fastball. It gets to the plate at 88. Under 0.4 of a second to react for Jason Worth, who struck out his first time. 2 on, nobody out, and a base hit up the middle. Here comes Utley. Here's the throw by Gardner. Cut off 4-1.
You may remember the first breaking ball with 2 strikes to Jason Worth from Burnett was low and away out of the strike zone. This one hangs in the middle. Again, pitchers can have control problems by being too wild in the strike zone, as that curveball was. Here's the first at bat with 2 strikes to get him. That last one in the middle of the plate.
And driven into center for an RBI single to score Utley. Still nobody out. Here is Ibanez. 2 on, and what a rip by Raul Ibanez, who hangs his head after not putting that one into the seats.
For hitters against pitchers with control problems, knowing they have to use the fat part of the plate, it becomes a feeding frenzy.
Ibanez bounced into a force out his first time up. And there's a shot into right. Swisher over to get it. Ryan Howard will score. It's 5-1 Philadelphia here in the third. And that'll be it for A.J. Burnett. Who on 3 days rest lasts only 2+ innings and is chased by this from Ibanez. First and third, nobody out. Phillies facing elimination, up by 4. Good when asked to pitch on short rest here tonight. A.J. Burnett gets into the third inning. That's all. Does not retire anybody in the third. We go down to Ken Rosenthal and talk about the pitching plans, not only coming into tonight, but even beyond tonight for the Yankees if this series continues.
Well, Joe, they'd have to go on 3 days rest again with Andy Pettitte in Game 6 if that were to occur. The Phillies would counter with Pedro Martinez, who would be pitching on normal rest, but his 2 excellent starts in the postseason were both off long periods of rest. So we'd have to see how that would play out. Game 7, CC Sabathia on 3 days rest again, and for the Phillies there would be a real question: Cole Hamels or Jay Happ?
Thank you, Kenny. More to talk about on that topic as we make our way through Game 5. First and third, nobody out. Feliz dealing with Robertson. Ball 1 in the dirt, blocked by Molina. It's Worth at third. It's Ibanez at first. Both with RBI singles in this third inning, and it's a 5-1 Philadelphia lead.
The deeper into this postseason you go, Joe Girardi's plans from early September was to go with 3 starters in the postseason. And that's what the Yankees have done. This is game 14 of the postseason, and they've only used 3 starters. So if they get to game 6 and 7, my view of that would, why change?
That last pitch, an illustration of the tight strike zone, and the count 2-0 on Feliz. Here's a 2-0. Popped up on the infield for Teixeira. And in foul territory, that's out number 1, and a big out for Robertson. It was shown a knack for getting out of tight spots. We'll deal with Carlos Ruiz, the pitcher to follow. Shane Victorino back in the dugout, and I'm sure telling teammates what they found. If they did indeed x-ray that right hand. Got his batting helmet on. Right now it's a number 8 hitter, Ruiz, first and third, 1 out. And a strike from Robertson. First time this entire postseason that a Yankee starter did not go at least 6 innings. And Burnett could not get it out in the third. Now it's up to Robertson. 0-1 is fouled back, strike 2. And Robertson could keep his team in this game and make all of that conversation, if the Yankees can rally, about game 6 or 7 irrelevant. But a tall order for the Yankees tonight to rally against Cliff Lee, who was settled in after allowing a run on 2 hits and a walk in the first. 0-2. Left side to the plate is Worth, and the only out at second. It's 6-1. That's a big run produced by Ruiz with 2 strikes and a force out.
Double play situations are the strangest things in baseball, because you want the hitter to hit it hard enough to where you can turn 2. First and third and 1 out. If he doesn't hit it hard enough, the run scores. And that's what happened then.
Now Cliff Lee, who grounded out on 1 pitch back in the second, he has a 5-run lead. That's outside, ball 1. The other name, and we heard Ken Rosenthal, so it's worth talking about with regard to a potential game 7 in this World Series, is the guy at the plate, Cliff Lee. They will all be available, and it would be Lee's side day, as Lee hits one into right center field for a base hit. And it's 2 on with 2 out, and Lee gets his 3rd hit of this postseason. He's trying to do everything for the Phillies to get this series back to the Bronx.
His first game against the Colorado Rockies in the division series, not only did he get a hit, but he stole his first major league base on the advice of Davey Lopes, the first base coach of the Phillies. So he is doing it all.
So now Robertson gets a visit from Molina. 6-1, and Jimmy Rollins, who's 1 for 1 with a single, a walk, and a run scored, steps in. See the 1 through 4 hitters, Tim, and what they've done tonight. They've reached base in 7 of 8 plate appearances.
Production out of the first 4. That's why the Phillies, in large part, are in the World Series.
There's a strike and a breaking ball. So Victorino is on deck. Rollins is at the plate. One ball, 1 strike. Robertson stared in after not getting that call. Two on, 2 out, 1-1 pitch. On the outside corner, good pitch by Robertson, who's made some good pitches since entering here in the 3rd inning, strike 2.
Joe Girardi likes to say about David Robertson that he has swing and miss stuff.
Talked about DeMuth being tight side to side. That was a wide strike after not giving a low strike the previous pitch, and Molina will go out and talk with Robertson. This is the 8th man to bat in the inning, and the inning started with walks to Utley and Howard from Burnett. Then RBI singles by Worth and Ibanez. Burnett gone. Responsible for not just the 6 runs that have scored, and now with 2 on and 2 out. A foul ball off the bat of Rollins.
We've talked about it so many times before that somewhere in a multi-run inning there's a walk.
There are 2 in this inning, and Burnett is still responsible for one of the runners on. There's strike 3. Robertson gets out of the inning, and we go to the 4th. Game 5. Philadelphia doing what it needs to do here tonight. 3 in the 1st, 3 in the 3rd, and a 6-1 lead here in Game 5. Cliff Lee back to work, 4th inning, 6-1 Philadelphia in Game 5. News on Shane Victorino. For that, we go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, Shane Victorino indeed had an X-ray. He looked at me and said, "It's not broken, I'm fine."
And that's probably as simple as he'll keep it. We talked about his toughness and very important part of this lineup for Charlie Manuel. Now Nick Swisher will lead it off against Cliff Lee. Lee hasn't allowed a hit since Alex Rodriguez hit an RBI double in the 1st inning with 2 out. Phillies came back with 3 in the 1st on a 3-run home run by Chase Utley. Pushed 3 across in the bottom of the 3rd, lead at 6-1. And the first to Swisher is up and away, ball 1. We just had a chance to visit with Rich Doobie, the pitching coach. Philadelphia will give you that visit in the top of this fourth. Swisher walked his first time. There's a 1-0. Ball and a strike. Alfredo Aceves is getting loose for the Yankees in their pen. That misses. Ball 2, 2-1. On deck Cano and then Gardner. 2-1 pitch is hit to third, caught by Feliz, 1 out. First question to Rich Doobie, the pitching coach for the Phillies, was, do you like what you're seeing out of Cliff Lee?
Very much so. You know, Cliff works at that fast tempo and pounds the strike zone. You know, he's always effective doing that, and we always play pretty well behind him, of course.
You know, we don't know him like you do, but it seems like just the overall demeanor of this guy is that he's not going to be fazed by a start like this with you guys facing elimination.
Nah, he's very low-keyed as far as putting too much pressure on himself. Really has no ego at all and just goes out there and has a lot of fun playing this game.
Have you had to check yourself to think about any more pitching the rest of this series? Should this thing continue? Or are you just worrying about tonight?
No, we'll take it one day, one inning at a time.
How did I know you were going to say that, Rich?
Well, that's the way you got to look at it.
I got you to smile. All right, 6-1 here in the fourth inning. Thanks for your time.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right. It's taken 4.5 games, but we made it happen. Right now he's not smiling. He is yelling out at the home plate umpire, Dana DeMuth, about the tight strike zone as the count's 2-0 on Robinson Cano, who flied to left his first time up. With 2 on in the first inning, there's a strike, 2-1.
Charlie Manuel telling us before the game what most people know, that managers can't see outside or inside from the dugout. They can only see high and low. So if you see the pitching coach or the manager yelling at the home plate umpire, usually it's because of a high or a low strike.
Here's a 2-1 to Cano, and it's in for strike 2. Cano thought that was low. Let's give it a look. Looked like a strike. Cano 2 for 16 in this World Series. Hits it hard, but right at Utley. 2 out. With the bases empty, Brett Gardner will be the hitter.
Why it's so unusual for Cano to be 2 for 17. Keep in mind that Derek Jeter and Robinson Cano, both with over 200 hits as middle infielders. It's the first time that that's happened in 112 years.
When I read that stat coming into the postseason, or when you and I picked it up in the ALCS, I had to read it twice to make sure I got it right.
Yeah, you're going, what?
That's it. That's the first time a middle infield combination did that with the bats. 200 plus hits, and Cano is really struggling. 2 for 17. Gardner's in the hole, 0-2. And Lee has for sure settled into this Game 5 start. Now up by 5. Left side, Rollins got a tricky hop, shows the arm. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Cliff Lee. A look at City Hall here in Philadelphia with the hometown Phils up by 5. TV. To get theater quality picture and sound on every channel, call 1-800-DIRECTV. 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Philadelphia, up by 5. Playing behind their ace, Cliff Lee. Here's Victorino. And there's a ball from Robertson. Nice job by Robertson. Coming in with 2 on and nobody out in the 3rd inning. Made some good pitches, limited the damage. The line for A.J. Burnett, 2+ innings, 6 runs on 4 hits, 4 walks. Big difference from game number 2, and just 2 strikeouts, hit a batter, allowed a home run. 2-0. 3-0 on Victorino.
Seeing Victorino with that sore right hand, I hope this story does not appear to be self-serving because it's not intended to be. But on May 2nd, 1970, my first year with the Phillies, I broke my right hand with Willie Mays hitting. In the same inning, 1 out later, Mike Ryan, the other catcher, broke his left hand. 2 broken hands, 1 out apart on May 2nd, 1970.
And we heard the report from Ken Rosenthal, no break in that hand, at least the initial look, and a ground ball to the second baseman off the bat of Victorino, 1 out as Cano makes the play. And we go to another catcher with that shaking of the right hand by Victorino. Hear from Joe Girardi and talk to him about the difference between Burnett tonight in game 2.
Well, he didn't have the command that he had the other night. His fastball command wasn't as good, and neither was his breaking ball. And you know what's going to happen with a club like this. If you make mistakes, they're usually going to hurt you.
And we look at the other side. Cliff Lee had, I guess you could call it a rough first inning. He looks like he's settled in now.
Yeah, I mean, we've had good at-bats. We just hit 3 balls hard in that inning. And if the good at-bats continue, you hope you can scratch some runs across and get back in the game.
I think people could overlook the injury to Melky Cabrera, but it really changes the look of the bottom of your lineup. That's a big loss for you guys.
It does change the dynamic because he's a switch hitter, and we like having all the switch hitters in the lineup. And we're going to miss him, and Gardy's going to have to step up.
We appreciate your time, Joe. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
45-year-old manager Joe Girardi, second year. Corner of the dugout for the Yankees. 0-1 pitch to Utley, skips in. Good job by Robertson to come back and get Victorino on a ground out to start the bottom of the 4th, and it's a 1-1 count on Utley. He's hit a 3-run homer, walked, stolen a base, and scored a run. So he scored twice and driven in 3. A 1-1 to the shortstop, Jeter. Gobbles it up, throws him out, 2 away. World Series has gone through a stretch for the first time in World Series history. World Series has lasted at most 5 games. Going back to the sweep by the Red Sox of the Cardinals in 2004, sweep by the White Sox of the Astros in 2005. Cardinals beat the Tigers in 06 and 5. Boston swept Colorado in 07. Last year it took 5 games. A lot of days, but just 5 games for Philadelphia to beat Tampa Bay. Phillies trying to break that string and force a game 6 on Wednesday night at Yankee Stadium. Ryan Howard took a strike. And now fouls away another. 0-2.
David Robertson, the pride of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. In fact, his dad is here tonight. He couldn't make the games at Yankee Stadium. He was too busy, as he is a poinsettia farmer. So this is a busy time of year for David's dad.
Holiday season coming. 0-2 pitch, and upstairs, ball 1. Ryan Howard tonight has walked twice. Scored a run. Called by Molina. Yankees up in this World Series 3-1. Philadelphia leads Game 5 6-1. And a double hit.
That was an example of what you were talking about the last time Ryan Howard was up, even though he's walked twice. That getting out in front of the breaking ball that Charlie Manuel was talking about. You could see him commit with that front side and open up. Fouls the ball off to stay alive, but you can see everything's on the front foot, nothing's on the back foot.
Able to lay off the pitch, 2-2. Favorite player growing up, Vi Sikahema, who's now a television personality at an NBC affiliate here in Philadelphia. Kick and punt returner. Cardinals, Eagles. Here's a 2-2. And a strikeout for Ryan Howard. That is the 11th time he's struck out in this series. A 1-2-3 fourth for Robertson. Now the 5th, 6-1 Philly. Back after this from your local Fox station. Cliff Lee has retired 10 of the last 11. And he will work to Jose Molina. And now Molina's being lifted for a pinch hitter, Jorge Posada, who's digging his way in. Then the Yankees will need a pinch hitter, and Eric Hinsky is in the on-deck circle. So Posada is used. Trying to get something jump-started with the offense is Joe Girardi. And here's the first from Cliff Lee. Fastball, strike one. And Aceves is still getting loose. That misses, a ball and a strike.
You might think, why is Joe Girardi pinch hitting Posada to lead off an inning when the Yankees are 5 runs down? Well, by pinch hitting him now, I think what Joe's thinking, you may buy another at bat for Posada. before this game's over.
There's strike 2.
If you wait until the 7th inning or so, you may get a situation where there are only 1 or 2 at-bats by Jorge instead of 3.
Ground ball to Utley. A couple of shuffle steps to his right. 1 out. We mentioned the great food at Citizens Bank Park last night. One of the features is put together by a favorite Philly, Greg Luzinski, and we'll hear from him and take a look at it after Hinske does something here with 1 out, nobody on. That means that Robertson's night is finished, and he did a nice job. He went 2 innings, allowed only 1 hit, struck out 2, no runs. Ball down and away to Hinske, who's at the plate for the first time this postseason. There's Bull's Barbecue, former teammate of yours, Greg Luzinski. 1-0 pitch is chopped to the right side, foul.
The Bull could hit him as far as anybody. One of the great guys in Philadelphia Phillies history. Very, very popular.
Cliff Lee is dealing, and the 1-1 is down and in a bit. 2-1. On deck is Jeter. Here's the 2-1 from Cliff Lee, and that's outside. 3 balls and a strike. Behind on the count, Lee brings it, and it's ball 4. That is the 3rd walk of the night, handed out by Lee. Talked about Greg Luzinski and Bull's Barbecue. Let's hear from him.
Well, I don't know how they do it in New York, but this is how we do it in South Philly at Bull's Barbecue. We got the ribs here, we turn them, we cook them very slow. They're pre-cooked with a rub on them. As we go down here, we got chicken we do the same thing with. We finish it off with the sauce. We got the Bull's Bulldogs here that is a full length, and people seem to enjoy it all.
That's great.
So now standing at a barbecue pit is Greg Luzinski. 1 on, 1 out for Derek Jeter as the Yankees trying to get something going, and there's a base hit. They may have just done that. Hinske goes first to third as Jeter gets a base hit to right, his 8th hit of this World Series. A walk and a single, and Johnny Damon's coming up.
You might say, well, why is Ryan Howard holding the runner on when the Phillies have a 5-run lead? There are a lot of first basemen who prefer to play in front of the runner instead of behind the runner, because the runner at first blocks their view. That's why you see a lot of first basemen now holding runners on, even though their team may be up 4 or 5 runs in the mid-innings.
And with that, Jeter is now hit safely in 31 of 37 career World Series games.
Born for the big stage.
And it's first and third, 1 out for Damon, who takes a strike. Jeter is hit in all 5 World Series games this year. Hinske drew a walk. Jeter a base hit. Yankees have to hope that's the start. High and tight, 1 ball, 1 strike. Damon has singled and scored and walked. So he's been on base twice. Came in 3 for 26 in his career against Cliff Lee. A 1-1. Shattered bat, and a grounder is a fair ball. And in to score is Hinske to make it 6-2.
Very good base running by Eric Hinske. delaying. And the minute Howard turned toward first base, Eric came home. Howard thought this ball was going to go foul, but it was very much a fair ball. And the minute he turned toward first base, Hinske came in. Watch him trickle into your screen. Stopping. Now, the minute he turns, Hinske scores.
And really, his initial look was down to second base.
Yeah, right.
That ball started foul, came back. Jeter had to get out of the way of the barrel of the bat. And it's an RBI for Johnny Damon in a 4-run game. Now a runner at second, Jeter, 2 out for Teixeira. And Ruiz will go out and chat with Cliff Lee. We've seen a couple balls down that first baseline in these games here in Philadelphia start foul and almost come back into fair ground, and that ball ended up right on the baseline when it was picked up by Ryan Howard.
Yeah, often a team with speed, and certainly the Phillies have a team with speed.
Here's a little pop-up into shallow right for Jason Worth.
Those first and third base lines slant inward to keep the ball fair.
1 run in the inning on a walk and a hit for the Yankees halfway through it. 6-2 Philadelphia. Game number 5 goes into the bottom of the 5th. Jorge Posada, who pinch hit, is in the game catching. No surprise. And the new pitcher is Alfredo Aceves, who has not been in a postseason game since Game 2 of the ALCS on October 17th. Actually made that appearance in Game 3, the 19th, 2 nights later, and that was the controversial move for Aceves. So it's been a while. He came on to relieve David Robertson in that game. Robertson had picked up the first 2 outs of the inning. Aceves came in and gave up a hit to Howie Kendrick and a game-ending RBI double to Jeff Mathis. He was the loser in that game and has not been seen since in a ball game this postseason for New York. But pressed into duty in the 5th, dealing with Jason Worth with a 1-1 count. And Aceves wants to talk to Posada. Bottom of the 5th inning, 6-2. Philadelphia leads it. Get ready, television's #1 show returns. Millions dream, thousands audition, but only one will become the next American Idol. A spectacular new season begins this January on Fox. Jason Worth with an RBI single up the middle his last time up, and now puts a charge into left center field at the wall. What a catch by Gardner, who's down on all fours and can't get up. What a grab by Brett Gardner. And he hit that wall hard at full steam. The Yankees have already lost Cabrera.
Gardner's first game back. What a play. Slamming that right shoulder into the fence. Brett Gardner was on the disabled list with a broken left thumb for 6 weeks. Not really knowing how close he is to the wall, makes the catch, slams into the padding.
He got a visit from trainer and Joe Girardi.
And Steve Donahue.
Worth watched as A, that ball fell short of leaving the park, and B, Gardner caught it, and he and Joe Girardi almost crossed paths as Worth just kept on going. He has to get back to the dugout somehow.
What a great shot. Touch them all on a fly ball.
And an out, a loud out to start the bottom of the 5th as Ibanez takes a strike from Aceves. The numbers for Aceves during the regular season, as he gets Ibanez to ground to Teixeira for out number 2. Guys coming out of the bullpen that rack up 10 wins. Some guys are called a vulture in that position, coming in, pitching out of the bullpen. He was valuable and had good numbers. 84 innings pitched, 69 hits, struck out 69, walked just 16, allowed 10 home runs, and was 10-1. Aceves with 1 start, 42 appearances out of the pen during the regular season. Pitching the bottom of the 5th, here's Pedro Feliz, and a ground ball to short. Jeter takes care of Feliz, and we go into the 6th, game 5 of this World Series. Philadelphia will take the field up by 4. entertained before the top of this 6th inning with a protege. And as we go to the 6th inning, it's a 6-2 Philadelphia lead. Trying to force a game 6 on Wednesday night. Alex Rodriguez first up. RBI double, his first time fly to center in the 3rd. And Lee brings it. Strike 1. Cliff Lee in his career has never blown a 5-run lead. Right now it's a 4-run lead, but it was 5. He is 41-0 in his career when leading by 5 or more runs. 0-2. Rodriguez, then Swisher, then Cano. If anybody gets on, Brett Gardner. On this chilly but precipitation-free night in Philadelphia to pop up. Into right for Jason Worth. 1 out in the 6th inning. Coming up on 10 o'clock in the East in tonight's Verizon game summary. Utley talked about the Phillies needing a jolt. He supplied it. Bottom of the 1st inning, a 3-run shot. 4th home run this series, made it 3-1. There's the numbers. There are the numbers for Cliff Lee. 41-0 in his career with a lead of 5 or more runs. And the 1 through 4 hitters for Philadelphia, which carried the Phillies all the way to this World Series, are getting it done tonight. Here is Nick Swisher, 0 for 1 with a walk. Lee fires a strike.
Nick batting in the 5-hole behind Alex Rodriguez. And it's interesting to note that he homered for the Yankees in 7 different lineup positions. Shows you his flexibility.
And the majority of his home runs have come on the road this year. Most road home runs in the American League with 22. If you include the one he hit here 2 nights ago. 22 of his 30 have come away from Yankee Stadium, which surrendered the most home runs across the big leagues in 09. Counts 0-2. There's a difference home and road for Swisher. First year with the Yankees. After a trade with the White Sox, brought him to New York. Ball 1. Not as dominant as game 1 for Cliff Lee, but certainly effective. A 1-2. 2-2. Recruited as a safety to Notre Dame by Bob Davie. Former head coach there. And a 2-2 pitch to Nick Swisher is hit foul outside 3rd.
Nick's dad, a former major leaguer, Steve Swisher, who caught for the Cubs and the Cardinals. We ran into him the other night. The commander, great guy, lives in West Virginia.
His son Nick waits for a 2-2 and hits it in the air to left center field. Back is Victorino for out number 2. Ball is not carrying to left center. Jason Worth knows that after the ball he hit to start the bottom of the 5th. We look ahead. If there is a game 6, it will be on Wednesday night from Yankee Stadium. We know that the Yankees will start Andy Pettitte, at least we believe so. We're on the air at 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific. The only way Pettitte would not get the ball in game 6 is if he told Girardi that something wasn't right. And Joe Girardi told us before the game that he wouldn't know until Pettitte got to the ballpark today, and probably wouldn't say anything on the record until tomorrow. Meanwhile, in the pregame press conference, Charlie Manuel, the manager for the Phillies, was asked, in the event that you win tonight, do you have a game 6 starter picked out already? Charlie Manuel said, yeah, we've got a starter picked out, but we've got to win the game first. Here's Cano with a base hit into center. It comes with 2 out. here in the 6th inning, and then the follow-up question to Manuel before you announce it, and he said yeah. So he is keeping it quiet. I would think all signs at this point are on Pedro Martinez getting the ball for Philadelphia in Game 6 if there is one.
Yeah, and there's an outside chance that Jay Happ may be the starter. Or if Pedro does start that game, perhaps Happ will start Game 7 and backed up by Lee and everybody else.
2 out hit by Cano, who's 1 for 3 tonight, 3 out of 18 in the series, and Brett Gardner now, after losing Melky Cabrera to a pulled hamstring last night. Girardi, I'm sure, is thrilled that Gardner eventually got up after hitting the wall in left center on the ball hit by Worth last inning. Strike. The interesting figure looking deeper into this series would have to be Cole Hamels, and how great he was last postseason for Philadelphia, how he has not been this postseason for Philadelphia. There's a strike. Number 2 on Gardner, 1-2. Hamels made the start here on Saturday night, got into the 5th and was knocked out. Blew a 3-0 lead. Gave the Yankees 1-8-5 behind Pettit. It had to be as disconcerting to the Phillies after that start, not just the loss, but what Hamels was quoted as saying, which we'll get into at some point. 1 on, 2 out, 1-2 on Gardner. And strike 3 ends the top of the 6th. Just the 2nd strikeout for Cliff Lee, who struck out 10 in Game 1. Bottom of the 6th inning, Game 5, 6-2 Phillies. It'll be Carlos Ruiz, then Cliff Lee, Jimmy Rollins for Philadelphia. Up 6-2. And a good breaking ball from Aceves. He's brought good stuff with him to the mound from the bullpen. The perfect fifth. Strike one to Ruiz, who has an RBI on a force out. He hit into back in the third. That misses. A ball and a strike. Line drive into right field, well hit. Swisher, a good jump, and the catch to his left. Here comes Cliff Lee. Cliff Lee, who has been dazzling so far this postseason for Philadelphia. The biggest pitching reason why the Phillies are here and playing in Game 5 of this World Series. Digs in. He's 1 for 2. Kind of teased you and led you into what Cole Hamels said after that loss here in Game 3. We'll bring in Ken Rosenthal here in the bottom of the 6th as Lee fouls away strike one. The quote, I think, caught Charlie Manuel by surprise when he basically said, and I'm paraphrasing, I can't wait for it to be over. Right, Ken?
Yes, that is exactly what he said, Joe. Cole Hamels said, I can't wait for the season to end. It's been mentally draining. So that raises the question, how mentally prepared would he be to pitch a Game 7 when he's thinking along those lines? Now, maybe he was speaking out of frustration, but they're going to have to check in with him, obviously, if they get to that point.
He would be in line for the baseball in Game 7 if this series got there. Cliff Lee strikes out. 5 straight retired by Aceves, and Lee gets a nice hand going back to the dugout.
We asked Charlie about those comments the other day, and Charlie said, you know, I don't know what he meant by those words, and I'll have to talk to him to find out. We haven't talked to him about that since.
Well, we will.
But we will.
If we get the chance, if this series moves back to New York. Here's Jimmy Rollins, 2 out, nobody on. Rollins singled and scored in the first, and that single got it going for Philadelphia, down 1-0. Big shot by Utley, a 3-run home run. Make it 3-1 after 1 inning. And 3 runs in the third. Chasing A.J. Burnett. Yankees got a run in the 5th, then it's 6-2. First pitch of ball to Rollins. Pitch from Aceves, strike one. Bottom of the 6th, the Yankees in the 7th will have Posada, then a pinch hitter. Remember, Matsui is on the bench, as is Hairston and Ramiro Pena. And then Derek Jeter against Cliff Lee. Here's a 2-1. Off the end of the bat and into center. Second hit of the night, 3rd time on base for Jimmy Rollins.
Like a billiard shot to center field, eluding Cano.
So this is a spot where Jimmy Rollins will try and run if he gets a jump and test Jorge Posada, who threw out 22% of potential base stealers during the season. Rollins stole 31 and is 2 for 2 this World Series. Here comes Dave Island to talk to Aceves. Phil Coke gets loose. So the visit and the lefty getting loose with Chase Utley on deck. In case this inning gets past Victorino and Utley steps in.
These have always been odd visits because the pitcher on the mound knows that the pitching coach is talking to him to give the guy in the bullpen time to warm up to come in and relieve you. You talk about a diplomatic approach that catchers and pitching coaches have to take when the manager sends them out to talk to a pitcher buying time.
You look at the bullpen this postseason entering tonight. Mariano Rivera has allowed that 1 earned run, 14 and a third innings this postseason. The rest of that pen, an ERA of 4.76. Good work tonight by Robertson. Seves trying to match him. Rollins starts and stops, and Victorino fouls it back. Victorino hit by a pitch. He scored a run. He's popped up, grounded out, takes a pitch in the dirt. Down to second goes Jimmy Rollins. Again, Rollins had made a break and then stopped. And he's down to second on what will be called a wild pitch.
Ball kind of crawling up the mitt, the chest protector, and the mask of Posada as Rollins goes to second base on the wild pitch.
1-1 on Victorino, trying to give the Phillies their 5-run lead back. Off the end of the bat, Jeter charges, gets a big hop, and just got him at first. Inning over. Into the 7th, game 5. As they make some cheesesteaks here in Philadelphia, with the Phillies leading 6-2. Back after this from your local Fox station. Cliff Lee, the winner in game 1, trying to win game 5. Heck, he even has a hit tonight. 6-2. The Phillies lead as we go to the 7th inning, and Jorge Posada is first up, and a swinging strike on a fastball. Posada, then Hairston, who right now is in the on-deck circle. And while they meet on the mound, we get to say hello back to you again here in game 5. And as I said last inning, not as dominant, but certainly as effective for Philadelphia with Cliff Lee.
Well, he has shown so many looks, Joe. Changing speeds, spike, curveball, fastballs in, fastballs away. There's not much left in a repertoire.
No, that's it.
It's all you can do. If you're a pitcher.
0-1 is the count. And Jorge Posada grounded out, and his only at bat took over for Molina in the 5th. Takes a strike.
I wonder if Posada was talking about him pitching before he was ready. He called timeout. Lee continued the pitch, and the pitch was a strike.
And the crowd loved it.
I think Jorge put that right hand up too late.
It's not automatic. Time has to be granted, in this case by DeMuth, and he didn't, and now he rings him up. Strikeout number 3 for Cliff Lee.
2 pitches ago. Calling timeout, timeout. Home plate umpire Dana DeMuth said, nope, that's a strike. Posada argued, and then the next pitch was a strike on the inside corner.
And with 1 out, nobody on, here is Jerry Hairston Jr. He's made a start in this series. So far 1 for 5 this postseason. That one was a big hit, though. Came in his first postseason at bat. Hairston almost hopped out of there and tried to call timeout. And now he says something to the home plate umpire. He stayed in. He was watching from the on-deck circle, took a ball.
Well, our first point of the scouting report is about how Cliff Lee works lightning fast. And Posada and Hairston have seen that here in the 7th.
It's high ball 2-2-0. The hit for Hairston came in the 13th inning of game 2 of the ALCS against the Angels, and he scored the winning run. The 2-0 pitch is over but low, 3-0. Jeter will follow. The Yankees are left with 2 position players on their bench. There's a strike. Hideki Matsui will be back in that lineup if there is a game 6 at Yankee Stadium, and Ramiro Pena is just activated. The Yankees took Melky Cabrera and his bad hamstring off the active list. Here's a 3-1 to Jerry Hairston. He's swinging and he pops it up into shallow left center for Victorino. 2 out. That'll bring in Derek Jeter.
I can tell by the inflection of your voice that you were surprised that he was swinging. I was too. You know, 30 years ago, 25 years ago, guys, a team trailing by 4 or 5 runs in the middle innings, you take a 2-0 pitch, you take a 3-1 pitch. But that is not the case anymore. The game has changed, and that's not the only change in the game.
So 2 out, nobody on, and Jeter, who's 1 for 3, steps in. And a strike. Mariano Rivera is in the dugout at this point. As opposed to out in the bullpen as Phil Koch continues to get loose. Pitch number 101 on the night. It's inside, a ball and a strike. Cliff Lee in that game 1 start. 9 innings, 1 run. He's unearned 6 hits, 10 strikeouts, no walks through 122 pitches. Here's number 102 tonight. Strike 2. That Game 1 performance, Lee became the first pitcher in World Series history in one game to strike out 10 or more, allow no earned runs and no walks. That's how dominant he was against the Yankees. Shattered bat, dangerous as it heads into the seats. Hopefully everybody's okay, and a pop-up ends the inning. And that's all that Jeter was left with. We go back in time to 1950. The Phillies were National League champions in the Fall Classic, taking on the Yankees, who were in the midst of an incredible run. They were the American League champions. And we take you to Game 2 at Shibe Park. And it was Joe DiMaggio's 10th inning home run off Robin Roberts, the difference in that game. It was a 4-game sweep in Game 4 at Yankee Stadium. Yogi Berra Homered off Jim Constanti, the palm baller. And then it was Allie Reynolds in relief of rookie Whitey Ford, striking out Stan Lapata for the final out. And it was a 4-game sweep for the Yankees over the Phillies. And who threw out the first pitch here tonight?
Robin Roberts in the foreground. In the background, Jim Bunning, Senator Jim Bunning from Kentucky. Robin tells a beautiful story of elegance, class, and dignity. The Phillies won the pennant that year as Phil Koch is in for the Yankees, 6-2 ball game. But the Phillies won the pennant on a 3-run home run by Dick Sisler in the 10th inning at Ebbets Field against the Dodgers. Had they lost that day, it would have been tied, and they would have played 2 out of 3 for the pennant.
Here is Utley, strike one.
After the game, the man who broke the color barrier, Jackie Robinson, 3 years earlier, came in the clubhouse and shook the hands of the 25 white players who were going to the World Series and played 25 white players. There were 11 African Americans in baseball after the 1950 season. But just think about how compassionate that was. And Robbie is never forgotten.
Utley leading off in the bottom of the 7th. Howard will follow, and then Jason Worth against Phil Koch. Ball 2. Talked about that run for the Yankees. That was World Championship number 2 of 5 straight between 1949 and 1953. The Phillies, who were swept in that series, would not get to the World Series again until 1980, when they won their first World Championship over Kansas City. They won it last year, trying to repeat here in 2009. Here's a 2-1 to Utley. 2-2. Phil Koch is the 4th pitcher of the night for the Yankees. Burnett lasted 2+. Robertson 2 shutout innings. The same for Aceves. A 2-2. Full count.
I don't think it's arguable that Rich Ashburn, the most popular sports figure in this city's history,
part of that Whiz Kids team, and then the beloved, one of the beloved voices covering this Phillies organization.
From 1963 to 1997.
3-2 is hammered foul. You were a former broadcast partner of Richie Ashburn, who had an unbelievable sense of humor.
Unbelievable.
2-time batting champion, 4-time All-Star. And there's that run as a Phillies broadcaster, 63 to 97, and a Hall of Famer.
Just smile thinking about it.
Another 3-2 to Utley. And a shot into right. How about this series for Utley? Another home run. Second of the night. He ties Reggie Jackson for most in one World Series, and he makes it 7-2.
When you stand on top of the plate, you like the ball inside, because you have to have quick enough hands to like it inside. Another home run for Utley.
Crowd wants a curtain call.
I don't blame him.
ball by Ryan Howard as Utley stays in the dugout.
Middle of the plate, not for long.
About to turn 31 in December, and he's definitely in the conversation, Tim. Chase Utley, with that age-old question, if you were going to start a franchise, who would you start it with? He's got to be in that conversation.
Absolutely. No question.
The 0-1. Good swing by Howard. One of the better cuts he's taken in this World Series. It's 0-2. With that swing, Alex Rodriguez is out of room. It's out of play. We talked about it during game 1. The Chase Utley, it's kind of a new stat that's in vogue. OPS, on base percentage, plus slugging percentage. As far as the second baseman, the defensive position, at the plate, he's number 2 all time in that OPS to Rogers Hornsby.
Fastball up.
An 0-2 pitch. And it's up and out of the strike zone, ball 1. Coke gives up a home run to the lefty Utley. Howard goes around for his record-tying 12th strikeout in this World Series.
A breaking ball to Ryan Howard. We've said that a lot because that's what the Yankees have done. They've thrown him a lot of breaking balls. Looked like he went too far.
And he ties Willie Wilson for most strikeouts in a World Series. A record Willie wants no part of, and now he has company with Ryan Howard set back in 1980. Phil Hughes getting ready. So the Yankees try and get him figured out. A big part of the bullpen that has certainly struggled this postseason. Phil Hughes. There's ball 1 up and into Jason Worth. He was 1 for 3 with an RBI single and a run scored in a 3-run third inning. So back-to-back batters. One guy ties Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, for most home runs in a World Series. The guy behind him, Ryan Howard, ties Willie Wilson for most strikeouts in a World Series. Utley's doing his part to make sure that there's another game to play.
It's kind of the story of 2 swings. Utley's, then Howard's.
2-0 the count on Jason Worth, who's popped 7 home runs this postseason, and he flies one into center for Gardner. 2 out. Here's Ibanez. 1 for 3 in RBI single as well back in that 3-run third. He's hit the ball hard 3 times tonight. Now deals with the left-hander Phil Coke. There's another good swing, but a foul back. He doesn't leave much behind when he cuts it loose. He may have a tear and a muscle in his abdomen, but he doesn't swing like it. Here's the 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Yankees will have their big bats in the 8th inning. Damon, Teixeira, and Rodriguez. Bullpen is quiet for Philadelphia. Lee is over 100 pitches on the night. to 103. Here's the 1-1. Straightens up Ibanez, ball 2. On 2-1, Ibanez launches one to right. Get out the tape measure. That makes it 8-2. Off the billboard over the seats in right center. And the Phillies have their biggest lead of the night thanks to 2 seventh-inning home runs. And that's it for Phil Coke.
And that billboard in right center field says, drive them out of here. And that's what Ibanez did.
420 feet. Phillies are having fun tonight, teeing off on Coke in the 7th. Their biggest lead at 6. Pitching change for New York. First 3 against Sabathia, then 2 tonight. 1 off Burnett, 1 off Phil Coke. To tie Reggie Jackson for the most in a World Series. 8-2 as Ibanez followed with a shot off Phil Coke, and now Phil Hughes, who's trying to get his pitching stuff back in order. 2 out, nobody on, and a fastball's in for a strike to Feliz, who's 0 for 3.
Even with the Yankees trailing 8-2, Joe Girardi trying to get something positive to take back to New York if they lose this game.
Breaking ball fools Feliz, and the count 0-2. The pitcher spot has been cleared, so Girardi can let Hughes go a little while. The Yankees will have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in their half of the 8th. And a breaking ball gets Feliz looking. So there's a positive for Phil Hughes. 2 homers in the inning, and a 6-run Philadelphia lead after 7. that than Shane Victorino, who went out and started to take his position, then looked out and somebody else was standing in it. Ben Francisco, and then Shane Victorino came back and said, "What's the deal?"
I think Shane was talking when he pointed twice like that. He was saying, "Do I go back out there and Ben go to left and Ibanez come out of the game?" And Charlie Manuel said, "Nope." I think they're giving him a rest because of his hand. It's a 6-run ball game, and not a bad idea.
So Victorino replaced by Ben Francisco, and we're in the top of the 8th inning. 8-2. Philadelphia. Johnny Damon first up. And a fly ball down the left field line, slicing foul. Strike 2 from Cliff Lee. There is action now for the Phillies in their pen with Chan Ho Park and Scott Air. Johnny Damon has a single run scored, a walk, and an RBI ground out. Set up here at 0-2. And a breaking ball misses, ball 1. Teixeira next. Top of the 8th. 1-2 pitch. Reaching for it. Checks on Rollins. And he can't get a grip on the ball. So from a near strikeout on that breaking ball called ball 1 to that grounder to short, and Jimmy Rollins couldn't field it cleanly.
You could see that ball hung up in the heel of the glove. Rollins with only 6 errors on the year. I think it's going to be a base hit, and it is. Should have been.
Brings in Teixeira. Weekdays make lunchtime your new prime time as FoxSports.com brings you lunch with benefits. Log on to check out new episodes of original sports shows delivered to your desktop every Monday through Friday at 1 Eastern. Tomorrow, don't miss Coach Speak with Brian Billick as the Super Bowl winning head coach talks strategy with current NFL coaches only at FoxSports.com on MSN. 1 on, nobody out for Teixeira. And a strike from Cliff Lee. That's as good as his velocity's been all night, 91 miles per hour from the left-hander. Lee's 0 for 3 and now 1 for 17 in this World Series. One and 1.
Cliff Lee like CC Sabathia. Looks like they could throw 15 innings if necessary.
Pitch number 110 is swung on and missed by Teixeira. Strike 2. Pretty good life with that fastball here in the 8th. And that ball is hammered into left field. It will get past Ibanez to the wall. Teixeira digs for second, has a double, and it's second and third, nobody out. With Alex Rodriguez coming up, and one swing of the bat could make this a 3-run game.
That was a changeup from Lee, but he got it up, and so did Teixeira.
Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, jogs out to talk to Cliff Lee. And Rodriguez, who's 1 for 3 with an RBI double. He's fly to center, fly to right. Will be at the plate.
Of all the baseball questions that have to be answered, how do you feel may be the most prevalent. To get our guys at StatSync to look that up. How many times that question has been asked?
And how often is the answer, I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Damon with an infield hit. A double by Teixeira. Here's Rodriguez, who could tighten this one with one swing. 6 home runs this postseason for Rodriguez, and he shoots one in the air to left, into the alley and off the glove of Ibanez. 1 run scores Damon. Here comes Teixeira, and it's a 2-run double for Alex Rodriguez, and just like that, it's 8-4 here in the 8th.
And Joe, that's what Shane Victorino was talking about when he pointed, do you want Francisco in left field, because both are better outfielders than Raul Ibanez. Ibanez going to his left, the ball right off the webbing, actually off the thumb of the glove. That ball could have been caught. That was Victorino's point. You want me in center and Francisco in left because we're better fly chasers, and that's a fact.
.112 pitches on the night, chased by the 2-run double by Rodriguez. Pitching change here in the 8th. In an 8-4 game, and those 2 home runs that were hit in the bottom of the 7th, one by Utley, one by Ibanez, loom large now for Philadelphia as they lead by 4, facing elimination here tonight, and Nick Swisher is first up against Park. Remember, Hideki Matsui is left on that bench for Joe Girardi. Strike 1 to Swisher. Thought it was outside. It's strike 1. Swisher tonight 0 for 2 with a walk. That was against Cliff Lee, who threw 112 pitches. If he gets a decision, can only get the win here in Game 5. 1 ball, 1 strike from Park. Park worked an inning last night, walked 1, struck out 1. Did not face the batters last night. We'll deal with here tonight. His inning predominantly against the top of the lineup for the Yankees. Here's a 1-1. Park took something off, strike 2.
Rich Doobie, the pitching coach of the Phillies, really believes in the changeup, and a lot of Phillies pitchers throw that. Cliff Lee does. Ryan Madsen, Chad Durbin. He does not, however, believe in the split finger fastball. He thinks the changeup is superior.
Swisher checks his swing. It's 2-2. Awful close, no swing, said Jeff Nelson, the third base umpire. The 2-2 to the right side. Utley makes the play. Over to third goes Rodriguez, 1 out in the inning. We showed you some of the tape. Here's the rest of it before the start of this 8th inning when the Phillies made the change. Charlie Manuel taking Shane Victorino out of the lineup, out of the outfield, inserting Ben Francisco. And let's take a look and listen. See Victorino pleading and saying, move Ben to left. I'll play. I'll stay in center. Ibanez stayed in the game and left and had a ball go off his glove, hit by Rodriguez for a 2-run double. And now Cano with Ruiz going to the mound to talk to Chan Ho Park. Emotion is such a key to the game of Shane Victorino.
Yeah, you're right.
And you can see him just coming up to Charlie Manuel with those wide eyes, shocked that he was coming out of this game 5 with his team facing elimination. Charlie Manuel wanting to give him the rest of this night off. I've already x-rayed that right hand to see if there's a break in it from when he was hit by A.J. Burnett in the first. So he's finished tonight. Cano, a base hit his last time up. First pitch. Good pitch, down and in, strike 1.
The change up from Park.
Cano hit 25 home runs during the regular season, has not gone deep this postseason. That inviting right field here at Citizens Bank Park. Like there's one in his home park in the Bronx. He pops it up. Shallow center for Francisco. Rodriguez will tag and come to the plate and score. Rodriguez watching it the entire way, and the throw by Ben Francisco was late, and it's an 8-5 game.
It is interesting to notice the third baseman, when anybody is tagging up at third base, what they try to do is line themselves up between the guy tagging and the center fielder, so they can't really see it. You can see Feliz standing next to Rodriguez in line with the center fielder and trying to block his view and upset his timing unsuccessfully.
And Rodriguez, Tim, really came down the line and was judging how good that throw was to see if he carried on to the plate.
Very smart base running by A-Rod.
Not a very good throw by Francisco. And it's a 3-run game here in the top of the 8th. 2 out, nobody on. So, you know, in World Series history for the Yankees, largest deficit overcome to win a game, 6 runs. 96 World Series Game 4. This was a 6-run lead. Now it's a 3-run lead.
At top of the 6th inning, Derek Jeter led off that inning, and the Yankees scored 3 runs because Joe Torre said, let's cut it in half, and that's what the Yankees did.
The rest of this game is not without drama in what's a 3-run game right now. Gardner's up. Gardner makes an out. You're looking at a 9th inning with Posada hitter like Matsui, who could come off the bench, and Jeter. And if anybody gets on Damon, then Teixeira, the big bats factor in with some sort of a rally for New York as we play here now in the 8th.
And if the Phillies don't score in the bottom of the 8th, do you look for Brad Lidge again?
Gardner tonight is 0 for 3 with a strikeout and 2 groundouts. Yankees score 5 runs off Cliff Lee in 7+ innings on 7 hits. Just joining us, Utley with 2 home runs, 5 in this series, ties a record held by Reggie Jackson. Alex Rodriguez has 18 RBIs this postseason. 3 tonight. That's a Yankees single postseason record with these extra tiers of playoffs. And then the numbers for Cliff Lee, who can only be the winner tonight. As Chad Godin, the right-hander, Brian Bruni, the right-hander, get loose. Here's a pop-up. Out behind second for Rollins. Good work by Chan Ho Park. Bottom of the 8th. Phillies bat now leading by 3. That video brought to you by Warner Brothers Pictures' Sherlock Holmes, starring Robert Downey Jr. in theaters Christmas Day. As Ruiz leads off against Phil Hughes and looks at a breaking ball for strike 1. It'll be Ruiz, then a pinch hitter, Matt Stairs, and then Jimmy Rollins. The Phillies will have to go deeper into their bullpen for the end of this one. Park did a nice job, 1 perfect inning. Lee 7+ innings, 5 runs on 7 hits, but in line for the win. 8-5, bottom of the 8th. Now Rivera has changed his location from the dugout to the bullpen. The 0-2. Breaking ball grounded up the middle. Ruiz has another World Series hit. His 10th over the last 2 years. Now 10 out of 32. And the leadoff man is on, and Stairs will indeed bat with nobody out.
Yeah, Charlie Manuel has 2 ways to go. You could put Eric Brentlet up there to bunt. Bunt Ruiz to second base, play for 1 run. But Charlie's thinking, Charlie is a hitter at heart, period. He wants to see Matt Stairs do what Matt Stairs tries to do every pitch, hit it off the end of the world.
So far, Stairs is 1 for 6 in this World Series. Got to start as a DH in Game 2. Had a base hit for an RBI. His only base hit this postseason. Strike. Good fastball from Phil Hughes. Check on the runner at first, Ruiz. Stairs, the oldest player that the Phillies can send up there on their active roster. Oldest player in this World Series, up on the count here, 2-1.
Matt Stairs plays in 2 hockey leagues in Bangor, Maine. Called his buddies about a week ago and said, keep the ice cold, guys. I'll be up in a couple of weeks.
2-1 the count. And a strike. Born in February of 1968. Started his pro career in '89. Got to the big leagues first with Montreal in '92. And hitting here in the 8th inning of Game 5 with his Phillies facing elimination up by 3. The 2-2. Ground ball. Cano gets it, flips it out over to first. Out. Nicely turned. 2 out. Nobody on. Rollins coming up. The World Series on Fox is sponsored by Walmart. Save money. Live better. Walmart. By American Express. Don't take chances. Take charge. And by AT&T. Your world delivered. With the bases empty, Jimmy Rollins steps in. He's been on base 3 times tonight with 2 hits, a walk, and a run scored. Interesting to see Ryan Madson getting loose.
It is.
Here's a ground ball to second. Right at Cano, and right into the 9th inning we go. The Phillies 3 defensive outs away from sending this World Series back to the Bronx, leading by 3 into the 9th. It's an 8-5 Philadelphia lead. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. To get the most channels in HD, call 1-800-DirecTV. Ryan Madson takes over. And not Brad Lidge, up by 3 runs, a save situation right now for the Phillies, and it's Madson. Lidge last night took the loss. And Madson fires strike 1 to Posada with Matsui on deck and then Jeter.
My opinion on this, I don't know whether this is true or not, but I think Ryan Madson is less inclined to walk himself into trouble than Lidge is. And that's why he's in the game and not Brad.
That drives Posada off the plate. Red Myers is getting loose, so Brad Lidge is not being considered here in the 9th inning. That's ball 2, 2-1. World Series fact that no team has ever come back to win after trailing by 3 or more runs in the 9th inning. In the history of the World Series, 2-1 pitch is inside, 3-1. The 3-1. Hit in the air to right. Back is Worth. This ball is off the top of the wall. Good start to this 9th inning for the Yankees. It's a double for Posada.
The one downside of that not issuing a walk is that on a 3-1 pitch, Ryan Madson properly throwing a fastball for a strike and making Posada hit to get on, and Jorge does.
We went through the numbers last night, but Brad Lidge, who was perfect last year while the Phillies won the World Series over Tampa Bay, 48 for 48 all told, during the regular season had an ERA of 7.21. Lidge, worst among closers, and blew 11 saves. And he's standing in the bullpen watching Madson deal with Hideki Matsui. The Yankees need one more base runner to have a chance. Ball 1 high. Good rip by Matsui. Good fastball from Madson. 93 miles per hour. It's a 1-1 count. Here's a 1-1. Ball 2. The 57 Yankees came back to tie game 4 the World Series. Lost that ball game, the Yankees did, in 10 innings to the Milwaukee Braves. 2 balls and a strike. Runner at second, and a ground ball, base hit left field. Going to third is Posada, and now the tying run will come to the plate for the Yankees in the 9th inning. And the Yankees are back to the top of their lineup with Derek Jeter.
I think what Joe Girardi could do now is pinch run Ramiro Pena, even though Matsui is not the tying run. But on a forced play at second base, it might be worth it here. Normally you don't do that unless the winning or tying run is on at first base. There's Pena, just added to the list today.
And here comes Rich Doobie to talk about it. as the tying run will come up. Derek Jeter here in the 9th inning. Tonight's saving moment of the game to this point brought to you by Walmart. Save money, live better. Walmart needing a jump start in the 1st inning tonight. Chase Utley with a 3-run home run against A.J. Burnett. But that is a distant memory right now because the Phillies look into Derek Jeter, who is about to dig his way into the batter's box, representing the tying run against Ryan Madson. And now there's more action for the Phillies in their bullpen, as Lidge does get up with the lefty Scott Air. It's Jeter now. It's Damon on deck and Teixeira looming. First and third, nobody out. Jeter takes a ball.
I am surprised that Ryan Howard is holding Matsui on. I think if you play back in the position, give yourself a better chance to field the ball by Derek Jeter. The odds are a lot better, and I don't think Matsui's going anywhere. Jeter hits a lot of balls to right field. In fact, he's done that tonight in the 5th inning. Single to right past the outstretched glove of Howard.
That's wide. It's 2-0. This Philadelphia team led by 6, 8-2. Got 3 runs home in the 8th. And have first and third, nobody out here in the 9th. Here's a 2-0. 2-1 on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball from Madson. In his 4th straight game of this World Series. Ground ball to short. Rollins flips out over to first. A big double play. A run scores, but 2 out in the 9th. No RBI for Jeter, who bounces into a 6-4-3 double play. Well turned by Rollins and Utley.
And the Phillies love that trade. 2 outs for 1 run here in the 9th inning. They'll take it in the 2nd.
Now Ruiz out to talk with the left-handed hitting Damon, who got it started in the 9th inning last night for New York with a base hit. Stole 2 bases, scored the winning run on a double by Alex Rodriguez. So Jeter does not come through in the 9th inning. Posada, who led off with a double, scored. Bases are cleared, 2 out. And now the Phillies are 1 out away from sending this to Game 6 on Wednesday night. Strike 1. Strike 2. And a check swing foul. The Phillies trying to avoid a sweep here at home. Came into Game 3 having won 11 of 12 here in their home park over the last 2 postseasons. Damon in that battle mode as he was last night against Brad Lidge. Now time called out in right field as Jason Worth motioning in toward home plate that something in the background is bothering Worth. As as he looks into home plate. 0-2 the count on Damon. 2 out. Phillies up 2. Ball 1. Ball 2.
Damon proving once again that it's a lot easier to get 2 strikes than the 3rd strike.
Trying to get on for Teixeira, who led the American League in home runs during the regular season with 39. Ground ball up the middle. Damon keeps it going and brings the tying run to the plate. On base for the 4th time tonight, 3 hits and a walk, and a smile on Johnny's face here in the 9th inning.
The pesky Damon. And a hit.
Teixeira, who has 2 postseason home runs with the Yankees. 1 right-handed, 1 left-handed. Takes a strike over the outside corner. Teixeira hit 39 home runs during the regular season, 30 of them batting left-handed. So Ayers stays in the bullpen and Madsen stays in the game. The changeup for strike 2 as Damon takes second. No stolen base. Again, the Phillies 1 strike away. Wouldn't go after that changeup. Ball 1. Who's standing on deck? Alex Rodriguez. Won the game last night. The 2-out RBI double in the 9th inning. Has 2 doubles tonight, 3 RBIs. Back to the Bronx.